Okay.
All right. So let's make sure that the page is showing up to the public eye. For those who watch this on the replay, hi. Because for those who are seeing it
Hello.
live, they might not see us just yet. That's all right. We're still going to get the message out.
Yes.
See, it's loading. Yep, it did just what I thought it would. Make it private. So we're going to make it public.
Okay.
And now you can feel free to share it as you want to.
Okie dokie.
And then we'll get talking. All right, this is good. All right, you let me know when you're ready. Take your time.
I, I think I shared it. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, share it to your profile.
Cool, cool. I'm excited to have Kimberly Bassington in the house.
Yay!
Yes, have to celebrate. Celebrate yourself. That's what I do with my daughter. We
Yes.
celebrate ourselves, right? Because if we wait for other people to celebrate us, we'll be waiting.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll be waiting. Intentions will be good, but
Yes.
we'll be waiting. So we
Absolutely.
celebrate ourselves. The small wins lead to big victories, and that's a part of this conversation. This is a big victory to
Yeah.
me to share this platform with you. It's almost like, it's like a full circle at like 6 months later,
Yes.
because you blessed me with the opportunity to share a platform where you so wonderfully hosted a virtual women's conference. And we're going to talk more about your superpowers and all that stuff in a little bit.
I love it.
We're going to talk about your superpowers because you are truly, truly awesome. Yeah, I would like to first, it's been a couple of weeks. So those of you who are watching, thank you for tuning in to Transcend with Bootstrap Dreams. We talk all things adulting, all things business, all things life, friendship, entrepreneurship, employment, whatever it is that you want to take a conversation about, because one thing that we do share in common, no matter the walk of life, we all know what it's like to be disappointed. And transcending is about overcoming that disappointment, walking in your truth, not being bitter, but being better, because you know what you intended, and you know what you need to grow from. And that's what we're talking about today with Kimberly, is keeping it moving. And she has, listen, it's an art, y'all. And she's going to tell us exactly how we can hone and tap into that craft. So Kimberly, please do share. Let us know. I know I've had the pleasure of growing to know you and appreciating you, but let those who are joining us today know who you are, and we're going to get into this talk about the art of Kim, keeping it moving.
Yes. Well, my name is Kimberly Bass Seaton. Most people call me Kim. I am a person that was gifted with the ability to motivate, and that is my purpose in life. So much so that I nicknamed myself Kim Ovation, which
Mm-hmm.
is obviously a combination of Kim and motivation. But I do believe that that was my gift in life, and I do that. I service that gift by being a motivational coach as well as a
Mm-hmm.
motivational speaker,
Yes.
and I have just been able to. It was a natural talent that God gave me, but it was something that I had to hone in on and learn how to do and
Mm-hmm.
sharpen those speaking skills and everything. And so it's just something that I enjoy doing. It's a passion. It's not something that I dread doing. It is my goal to do that full time one day. But
Yeah.
until that day, I call it my passion work, and my nine
Mm-hmm.
to five work is I'm a HR and finance administrator at Georgia Tech. So,
Yes. Yes. And you do the things that you do with that and beyond. So, well, she's being modest, y'all. She's being real modest about her capability, her gift, as she said, to, encourage, motivate, inspire others. Throws some amazing functions, amazing corporate meeting and events and all that in between. And does your thing with Georgia Tech. I want to
yes,
say Georgia State is in the mix, and
yes,
and beyond. I mean, listen. She's being modest. She's gonna make sure y'all can access her information later on. You know, you can hit her in the
Yes.
DM if you want to.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about this Kim Ovation, the art of Kim, keeping it moving, because I know I've had to keep some things moving. And we see you, Carla. We see you, Crystal Cole. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey,
Let's talk
Crystal.
about that. How did that all get started?
Well, I will say to you that growing up, I grew up in a pastor. My father is a pastor. And
Mm-hmm.
so the motivation to motivate people came from him. Of course, people would call it a ministry, but, as a
Yeah,
minister, you're motivating people to keep it moving in life and do whatever you
that's
have to do to sustain and maintain. But when I was growing up, I was a very moody person. And,
right.
if you're watching this and you knew me from high school or some years in college, you would know that to be true.
Maybe that's
But
why
I
we
was a
connect
bit,
so well.
maybe. Shout
We
out to Candace who introduced us.
right? Maybe that's why we connect so well. We get one another.
Yes, I was very moody, did not have a lot of control over my emotions, and my reactions were horrible. But there was
Mhm.
a shift that did happen when I was in college where I just I just matured and just made a choice to be more mindful of the energy that I bring into a room. And
Mhm.
that just began to bloom and blossom in my life, post graduation. And one day I read in 2005, I read a book called The Four Agreements. And that
Mhm.
really shifted the way that I think about things. So I believe that
Mhm.
that was kind of like the jump start for me outside of the church, to be a person who was able to give of positive energy to people.
Mhm. I'm gonna put that in here. That way people don't miss that gem you just dropped. The four agreements.
Yes, the four
Feel
agreements.
free to check that out. Resource for you there. See, she's already dropping gems. We're just a few minutes in. People, pick them up, scoop them up, bag them. Right.
Right.
So I love that. And if you know moody people, just go ahead and give us a heart in the chat. We need love too.
Yes, 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 yes.
We need
I
love
needed
too.
love too. Yes. And I would reject it. I would reject people's love and,
Yeah.
and then think I was worthy of it.
Yes.
And so now I'm like, I'm worthy of it all. Bring all the love and,
All of
the
it.
care, and I accept it freely.
Got more of it than I can fill
Right.
buckets with, right?
Right.
And that's a whole nother topic. We might
Hmm.
have to rebound on that one.
Right.
Yes, I like where this is going. Okay, so and I see Carl, PK Kid. Yeah, that's a journey all of
Yes.
its
All by
own,
itself.
all by itself. So as you evolved, in that space and realized who you were, what you lacked, right? Because sometimes people want us to give what we don't have to give, or we want from others what they don't have to
Right.
give. And that's where the
Right.
disappointment and whatnot sets in. So
Hmm.
after you were able to come to a space, or what was that moment? Let me not skip over that. What was
Hmm.
that moment that allowed you to say, I am this person and a shift needs to happen?
Right. I think the moment came when I was reading the four agreements, and one of the agreements is not taking things personal. And that
Mm,
one really struck me hard. And I was just like, I don't take things personal, just even in that statement, you're taking it personal. And so, when I read through the chapter, I was like, this man is like, it might as well have been Dear Kim, blah, 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 blah. And I realized in that moment that a lot of the things that, a lot of the reactions that I would give to people,
mhm,
more specifically negative reactions, it was because I did not listen well.
mhm.
And because I was only hearing partial pieces of it,
Partial
then I would
pieces.
automatically take it personal. And so when I began to learn how to listen, and that's still an art that I'm learning how to do, um,
Mhm.
it allowed me to be able to have a space where I can hear what people are saying.
Yeah.
And oftentimes I would interrupt them, but in the end, they were going to say whatever I was disputing. And
Yeah.
so, and it was just to a point where I was tired. I was just
Yeah.
tired of being moody. I was tired of the up and down and not knowing what to even expect from myself. And so I just said to myself, this is a journey. I'm going to take it. It was a tough journey in the beginning to identify all of those areas in my life. But,
Mhm.
but once I got on that train, even now it's something that I'm very mindful of. If someone gives me feedback or negative things, maybe at work or whatever, my husband or friends or family, I'm even mindful now of how am I taking this in. What track is this on? Am I taking it in a way that I'm going to grow from it, or am I
Mm-hmm.
taking this in a way that I'm going to be mad about this? And so
Ooh.
just being very aware of where I am in my head when people are giving me feedback.
As two things come to mind as you're talking, I'm going to put in the chat. And those of you who are joining us, let us know when you think about feedback, and feel free to be honest. Right, we're having a
Mm-hmm.
conversation here. Do you receive or do you
Mm.
reject?
Ooh,
Right? Do you receive
yes,
feedback or do you reject feedback? And hey, this could be an argument that could go so many different ways.
yes,
We're not arguing it
yes.
tonight. However, the
Mm-hmm.
question is, when you think about you and when people share something with you, do you tend to receive it or do you
Right.
tend to reject it? And like it's like my grandmother, she's 91 now, and I love it
Oh,
because
blessing.
she laughs at when I say everything, everything. Every time I talk to my mom and my mom says something, she's like, and mama just laughing. And I'm like, listen, when you get that, everything should be funny at this point because
Right.
it's like it's ridiculous. Like just things in life
Mm-hmm.
just start getting ridiculous when you change the way you
Mm-hmm.
look at things, the things you look
That's
at
right.
change,
That
right?
perspective means everything.
Perspective means so much.
Mm-hmm.
And coming from a project management background, I'm like, all data, that's information.
Right.
We're not asking you to agree with it all. We're not saying
Right.
it's all going to make total sense. And then we're not even saying it's all going
Mm-hmm.
to fit, but you can use it to
Right.
make an informed decision. Right.
Exactly.
And it's like,
Yes.
so do you receive it or do you reject it just because it doesn't align with you and
Right.
what you got going
Right.
on? And because
Right.
you can hear something, but what she says is, I brought my grandmother up because she goes, what you called me don't make me.
That's the truth.
Right?
Grandma done hit it right there.
What you
That's the
call me don't
truth.
make me. So it's like, but are you open enough to hear and figure out? Like one thing
Right.
that stood out to me about what you said, Kim, is that you ultimately decided I'm the common denominator here,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Like
Yes.
all of it might not be negative, and I might not be all bad, but
Mhm.
I am the one constant thing that's
Yes.
always changing.
Right.
Right? And
Right.
you decided to do
Right.
something about that, not everything around you, not all the other
Mhm.
people, and trying to get them not to say this and that. You
Right.
decided how you were going to filter the information.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and that is something that was a hard pill for me to spill. At jobs when you would hear the same feedback, you're an excellent worker, but your attitude, and it's just like wow. And I remember somebody said to me, or actually gave me a picture, and it said, "Attitude is a small thing that makes a big difference in your life." And it really
Ooh.
did make a huge difference when I changed the way that I thought about different things because it was
Mm-hmm.
just the way I was thinking about it. I wanted it to be my way. And when it didn't, I'm mad, and that's
Right.
being a spoiled brat. So I just had to mature to a place where I was able to see my own stuff that was coming
Mm-hmm.
out and mixing in with everybody else's stuff. So,
We are rolling with these same letter words because as you say attitude, I also hear acknowledgement.
yes,
A lot of
yes.
times people are upset. Oops, I don't know what I just pressed. People get upset, right? Or people think, oh, this he or she's disgruntled, or he or she did it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like they just haven't been acknowledged. A
Right.
little
That's
bit of
true.
acknowledgement goes a long way,
That's
and a little
very
bit of
true.
acknowledgement can pivot
Mm-hmm.
somebody's perception and cause a shift
Yep.
or mitigate
Mm-hmm.
that attitude, from happening. It's like, yeah, we all have to be responsible for ourselves. Yeah, I get it.
Right.
But you go through life, and we're humans, and we were meant for connection. We were
Right.
meant to be in contact and communication with one another. You go through life and nobody ever acknowledge you and see how you feel. Let me know. But
Right.
between
Right.
tonight and this morning, send a message and let somebody not respond a certain way
Right.
or
Right.
in a certain
Oh my
amount of
God.
time, or
Yes.
and let me know if you all right. Human you
I
is gonna feel
agree.
some type of way, right?
Oh
Human
yeah.
you,
Oh yeah.
and that even that, what type of acknowledgement do I get? Does that acknowledgement
Mm-hmm.
make me feel less than, or does that
Right.
acknowledgement make me feel supported? And then
Mm-hmm.
either way, where does that root come from?
Right. Right.
Where does that
Right.
root come from? Oh, this is so good. Okay, so you shared about, the 4 agreements,
Mm-hmm.
recognizing that you are the one that can make the change, learning
Mm-hmm.
how to not take things personally. We talked about receiving and rejecting information. We talked about how
Right.
attitude can shift everything.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happened after that? You had all these awakenings. Then what
Yes.
happened?
I would say to you that life happens like anybody else's life, but one thing that really shifted the
Hmm.
trajectory of my life was in 2015. The man who I was engaged to at the time, he passed away suddenly.
Mm,
And that really shook the foundation of who I was, or who I thought I was.
yeah,
And I used to feel like, oh, if something was to ever happen to a mate, I wouldn't be able to live. And God
mhm.
really showed me that, that was a
Listen.
lie that I was feeding myself, And so I just had to really, he was in the hospital in a coma for almost a month. And during that time, I had two choices. I could either be depressed and mad and upset and pissed off, or I could go into faith. And I
Yeah,
chose the faith route.
yeah.
And prior to that, I always felt like I had faith, but now I feel like faith is a superpower for me,
Listen.
and so I just really, and then when he passed away, my prayer was for God to heal him and to allow him to wake up. And when he
Mhm,
passed away, I felt like a dagger in my heart,
mhm,
like God had betrayed me, and he
mhm.
and he decided to go in a different direction. And
Yeah,
it took me, I took a couple months off of work, and it took
yeah.
me to be able to accept that God is God all by himself, and he
All
doesn't
by
need little
himself.
Kimmy's help. And also, what is this in this, Lord, that you're trying to teach me?
Yeah,
What is it that I'm supposed to learn and take out of this, and be able to move forward and heal?
yeah.
And so it was very rough. I went through some very dark times and dark days, and really probably only my mom and my sister know about that. But
Right.
that was a very tough time. And then 2 months later, my sister's fiance passed away. So my circle, my sister, my mom, and
Ay,
I, we
ay,
we
ay.
went through a very dark time in 2015. But it just, it solidified the closeness that we already have. We leaned on one another more than we even did before. And
Right.
we had been through a lot of things with my mom's health and everything, but
Yeah,
it really shook the foundation of who we were. But
yeah.
so one of the things that I said going into 2016 is that, your motto is keeping it moving. So how are you going
Mhm.
to keep it moving now? You can't lay in the bed depressed with the covers over your head and cry every day and struggle. You got to go back to work. You didn't win the lottery. And so I
Right.
had to find a way to be able to function. And it was rusty when I first got back out in
Oh,
them streets.
yeah.
I
Oh,
had been
yeah.
at home for 2.5 months, hiding away and really
Yes.
grieving. And so, and healing. And when I got back out there, it was rough and I was a little rusty at first, but I finally was able to start moving forward and
Mhm.
accepting what God had dealt, the cards that he had dealt me, and learning from it, and just expanding and helping other people in the process. And God really
Boom.
prepared me to help my sister 2 months later. I was able
Absolutely.
to be there for her, and help her to understand, what I was going through. Of course, no one understands what you're going through until they walk in your shoes. And then suddenly, she was walking in them. So
Yeah, right. And it's like that thing that you don't wish on anybody.
no,
Right? You
mm-mm,
wouldn't want anybody, even if you
no,
had to say you had a worst enemy, you wouldn't want anybody to go through certain things. And
absolutely.
as you're sharing that, it's like there's just something about grief, no
Mm-hmm.
matter how it comes. It's like I
Right,
tell people, I'm very open about my story, having to overcome a divorce that was very, is devastating and publicly humiliating.
right,
And
right.
while my husband at the time didn't die, I felt like it was a death
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
because it was a death of everything that we created. It was a death of
Right,
everything that we had talked about having going forward. It was a death of
right.
everything that I had said no to so that this could happen. Right? Like you have
Mm-hmm.
to grieve whether you see it as a loss or you just a shutdown or,
Right.
whatever, and start again. And sometimes when you get so committed to that vision
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to move forward from it, it's
Right.
like, what does forward look like now? What does
Yes.
forward look like now? And I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to start over. Like, this was my
Right.
forward, right? And what
Right.
does forward look like now? And like you said, faith, absolutely, absolutely will
Mm-hmm.
let you find out what you think you can't.
Oh, that is
Oh,
that right there will show you where you are at, and
it will
not
let
just
you find
in
out.
it will. It really did. And it carried me through days when I would be at work and I would want to run home and just get back
Hmm.
in my room in my cave and hide away.
Yes.
My faith would carry me through those 8 hours at work or
Hmm.
through conversations or it just really was something that I never really thought about when I was growing
Yeah.
up. I grew up in the Church of God in Christ, and one of the things that they would always say, was a big, it comes from the Bible, but it was a big motto about mustard seed faith. And
Uh-huh.
so I was
Uh-huh.
always aware that you only need a
Just
little
a
bit,
little bit.
but until you are dropped into that dark cave, you
That's right.
realize just how little you need. And so my faith would be a flicker of light at first, and then it
Yeah.
became a candle, and then it
Yes.
was a small night light, and then
Yes.
eventually my light was able to return back to me.
Yeah.
And when I was able to see clearly, a lot of people would say to me, just watching you go through this and your faith, it really helped me to really endure some of the things that I was going through. So that
Yep.
in itself, I'm like, Lord, thank you for this. That was one of the silver linings, that I was
And
able to help others.
and some of our viewers, thank y'all so much, fam, for watching and checking in. They are absolutely loving everything that you're sharing and
Thank
resonating with it for
you.
their own reasons. And you're right. I know, I can totally, like, everything you're saying. I'm like, affirmation, affirmation, affirmation. And it's been a while since I've revisited some of it. I can too recall people being like, I don't know how you
Yes.
do it. I don't know how you show up. I don't know how you show your face.
Mhm.
I don't know how you keep your head. I don't know how, like,
Mhm.
I like how you smile. You still smile, like,
Right.
and then in the midst of it, and
Right.
I didn't fake the funk. This is how you doing. I'm choosing to be well.
Yeah.
That was my motto. It wasn't oh, I'm fine. No, it's not fine. Ain't nothing fine
Yes.
about it. Is not okay, right? It
Yes.
is not
Right.
okay, but I'm going to be okay
I'm gonna
eventually,
be
right? I'm
all
going to
right.
be all
Yes.
right right now. I just have to get through this. And people would, like you said, people would start to share what they were going through.
Mhm.
You never saw it, never suspected.
Right.
But then people started to share, wow, like, I'm not the only one. And I just,
Right.
because of how you showed up, or because of how you didn't crack up, or because of how you didn't,
Mhm.
you know, like, people are able to get their own mustard seed. They're able to find their own
Right.
mustard seed of faith and figure out how they can walk through their journey. And then is it something about when somebody says, like, I don't like to use the word I understand unless I
Mhm.
understand.
Right.
Right. And
Yes.
so I'm usually say, like, I dare not say, like, I'll start, I dare not say I understand, because I don't. Right. But
Right.
it's certain
Right.
experiences in life when you're going through, when somebody tries to motivate you or encourage you, inspire you, whatever you lean towards,
Mhm.
when they say that they understand and they really do,
Right. It
it,
makes a
it's
world of difference.
it's so healing, because you know that you're not the only soul
Mhm.
suffering, and you
Mhm.
don't have to suffer in silence with
Right.
that disappointment. And so as you overcame, and like you said, you were prepared, you know, didn't ask for it, didn't sign up for it, but you were prepared to
No.
walk your sister, you walked through, and then right away you had to help your sister walk through
Right.
overcoming that. Then what
Mhm.
was next? How did you keep it moving from there?
Well, I think that that incident of him passing away, it really opened up a world of healing for
Hmm.
me, and then I saw how other people also needed it. And so I began to give people advice. I'm like, well, wait a minute,
Yeah.
I'm expelling a lot of time, being with people and talking to them about my gift and my craft. So that's when I started taking on clients, and really being a motivational speaker
Hmm.
is something that that I really enjoy doing it.
Mhm.
And when I was at Georgia State University, I had many opportunities to do that. I've done that for outside organizations as well.
Yeah.
And just the feedback that people would give me, like, oh wow, I'm so glad that I came, or I wasn't going to come to this today, and I'm so glad I did. And just the key for me are women,
Mm.
and especially single women or single parents, or any type of woman, but just women who have lost the desire to hope,
Mm.
the to dream and to believe in themselves.
Mhm.
And for me to be able to give them that hope, I'm not a mother, but for me to be able to give a woman who is a mother, may not be struggling financial, but struggling emotionally
Emotionally,
and
yeah,
mentally,
mentally.
it really had a impact on me, and it fueled me to want to just keep,
Sharing.
driving at that, and sharing, and doing whatever I can to get that message out.
Yes.
And and it just became something that is now so much a part of me that I don't really know how to separate that even at work.
Mm-mm.
And even in the type of work that I do, it is helpful, in HR. A lot of things can happen, and a
Yes.
lot of HR is driven by policies and laws,
Yeah.
but I try to infuse in motivation, and encouraging people, and
Mhm.
just trying to do my best to help people to not see like this is devastating what just happened, or
Yeah.
so I think that before he died, I always say before Thomas and after Thomas, but
Uh-huh.
before Thomas, that was always a dream of mine. But I think his death really birthed something
Activated
new in
something.
me. Yeah, right, right,
Yeah.
right. So yeah.
And it is it's amazing how the death of something, right? Whether it's in physical sense
Mhm.
or, spiritual, emotional,
Right.
psychological, whatever the case may be, but how things have to die. We can even go biblical with it.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Carl, I know you
Mhm.
appreciate that, right? But it's like how something has to die sometimes
Yes.
before new life can take place, right? Because
Absolutely.
that that
Absolutely.
that that old thing has taken up so much. And again, this is not an advocacy to say that there's only one way to look at it, or that things are about fading away or walking
Right.
away. It's just saying that there is a shift that can happen.
Oh yeah. Yes.
There's
There's
a
a
shift
huge shift.
there's a huge
Mhm.
shift that can happen, and you've got to reconcile with self what that shift means and looks like
Right.
for you, and be
Right.
okay with you.
And that's the key, being okay with it. And also, I have for many years been a person that wears masks. I never
Mm,
wanted someone to see me sweat. I didn't want someone to think I was down or depressed.
mm,
I've battled with depression for many, many years of my life, but I always wanted to show a happy face. But it
mhm.
was a mask. And now I feel like I'm 45 years old. I would say for the last, 4 years, I took the mask off, and I'm okay with not being okay. I'm
Mhm.
okay with having days where, I don't want to show up in a certain way, and I'm okay
Right.
with taking
Taking
a
some
seat back,
time. Yep.
taking 1,000 seats, as people would say. And so, I've just been okay with being not okay,
Yeah.
and if depression, comes by me, I'm okay with saying, hey, what's going on? Why are you here?
Yep.
Whereas before I would just let it take over my spirit and just, but I'm okay with acknowledging those things now. And anxiety, I battle with that even now. And I'm okay with it. I used to didn't even know that what that feeling was. I had
Right.
no idea that it was
Yeah.
anxiety. And so, but I'm okay with it now. I had anxiety getting on here tonight. I have anxiety every time I get up to speak. But then once I'm there, I feel like how Beyonce says, her other person shows up and
Right.
performs. It's okay. Yeah. Be nervous. That means that you have some type of humanness that's in you, and you're not thinking that, oh, I got this. There's no worries. Nothing's gonna go wrong. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yes.
It matters. And I think you hit on something, as you talked about, even in your profession, how a lot of what you do is dictated or is
Right.
governed by
Mm-hmm.
compliance and policies and laws. Yet you
Right.
have not allowed that to stop you from being a human, right?
Right.
In life, a human in business. And
Mm-hmm.
ladies of the Human in Business show, we got to add Kim to the list.
Yes.
for our YouTube show. But
Yes, please
it's,
do.
you know, being human, which exactly what we are, right? Exactly who we were created
Mm-hmm.
to be, when we
Right.
actually allow ourselves to be that and relate with other
Mm-hmm.
people and being that, it makes a difference in the experience. We get a return on our experience in our
Right,
living,
right,
right? We're not
right,
just existing, we're not just going through the motion, we're actually experiencing life from a
right,
level that allows us to connect more deeply with other people. And
right.
I know me, and I'm sure you're heading this in this direction, because you talked about, you know, putting self first by saying I'm okay with being
Oh my
okay,
goodness.
right?
Yes.
And I know I had a shift, right? I'm very much a people person.
Mm-hmm.
Yet when I went through that shift that I went through, I was like, you know what? If you like it, love it, or leave it. That's just it. That's just it.
Right.
And
That's it.
either we can mutually meet one another where we are, whether it's
Right, right,
friendship, business, sisterhood, whatever the case may be. Either we can mutually meet one another where we are, or we can't.
right.
Nothing personal,
Yeah. It is what it
right?
is. You know,
It
it
just is what it
is.
is.
And
And
I'm not arguing and I'm not going back and forth and all that kind of foolishness. I don't
nah,
have time for that. Life is so short.
life
And
is so short.
Thomas was 38. He was 39 years old when he passed.
So
And
young.
that showed me that, I'm not eternal. This body can wither away and do whatever. And so you're absolutely right. And one thing that you are reminding me of is when people say I'm only human. What
Yes.
else could you be?
Yeah.
And people, it's like you are demoting your species down to nothing. I'm
Right.
just a mere human. And that's an excuse for behavior that we have that we don't want to change. So we're
Yep.
just going to blame that on our species.
Mm-hmm.
But being a human is so wonderful. I have a dog. I love her to death, but I don't want to be a dog,
Not at all.
you know and so I try not to say, well, I'm only human.
Yeah.
You're made in the image of God, so you're a wonderful and majestic thing too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It matters. So,
it
what were some
matters.
of the things that you also did when you decided to take off that mask and be okay with where you were when you needed to be in that moment?
Hmm.
What were some of the things that you did to put yourself first? And we're talking about, self-care, not in the way era of being pompous, not being
Hmm.
arrogant, rude, and like you don't care about anybody else, but taking care of you so that you can show up for others, taking care of you
Right.
so that you have enough in your cup to pour
Yes.
out, and
Yes.
what were some of the things that you began to do as you kept it moving?
Right. So um I have been overweight most of my life. I would say probably from the age of 9 up. And so this year I was introduced to a program called the 40-day turn up,
Mhm.
and I came into 2021 on a high from the conference that I did in December.
Man, that conference in December.
It was wonderful.
It
And
was
you were a
wonderful.
phenomenal keynote speaker. So thank you.
Thank
But
you.
I came into 2021 thinking, oh, well, we're going to do this. I'm going to work with this group, this group. All of the people who presented at the conference were willing to, carry on the different things throughout the month. And I had a whole plan about what 2021 would look like. And then I was introduced to this process by one of my good friends growing up. She's a sister and a soror, and
Yeah.
Tiffany Dover. She told me about this program and process and how much it changed her life.
Hmm.
And I was like, well, I want to do it, but I have so many plans going on, so I
Right.
can't just stop that. So many people are, relying on me
Pouring
to
on
get the
you.
ball rolling and doing all of this.
Yeah.
And it was almost kind of like embarrassing that I would just drop all of that, especially on, we were on a high note in terms of the people that, attended. It was over 100 women there.
That was.
But I had to make a decision that if I want to continue to keep it moving, do
Hmm.
Kim Ovation,
Hmm.
and do the work that God has called me to do, that I had to take care of myself.
That's
And
right.
so I dropped everything this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I dropped practically almost everything. I think out of all the projects I'm doing, I'm probably doing 4 to 5% of those in 2021.
Yeah.
And my the rest of that percentage has been focused on me
Yeah.
and learning how to eat better, learning about the functions of my body. Had no idea what the pancreas did, you know, knew about diabetes, had no idea how people got diabetes,
How?
you know,
Right.
never knew about how, you know, visceral fat or how exercise affects your, you know, your energy and your willingness to want to do things and how food works in your body. Had no idea, you know,
Right.
just a junk food
Just
addict,
consuming. Yeah.
just consuming, you
Yeah.
know,
Like,
and one of the things that I realize is that not only are you consuming junk food, but you're
mhm.
also consuming junk that's going up in here too, and it's not allowing you to focus. And so I feel the most focus that I have in my entire life, my entire
Amazing.
adulthood. You know, I've, you know, just been, I'm surrounded by women within this process, you know, that are supportive of me, that are on the same page. Shout out to Team Becoming. And, you know, it's just been one of the things that I can say this is the best investment that I've ever made in my entire life, you know,
Woo!
and it's in me, you know. And
Isn't
so
that great?
it just feels so good,
It feels
and
so good.
I'm just gonna keep going with it, you know.
I'm doing my celebration dance. We got
Yes.
to celebrate ourselves because when you realize, you know, and not to use loosely or sound cliche, but that worth factor, right? Like
Right.
we live in a currency economy, so often we have to put a dollar to something, right?
Mhm.
Yet
Mhm.
when you step back though and weigh that I'm worth taking care of myself.
Yes.
I'm worth putting myself in a position to be nurtured. I'm worth in
Right.
not waiting on someone else to do it for me,
Mhm. Mhm.
but to make
Mhm.
me a priority. And
Right.
then I can help other people see how to treat me.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. You know.
You see how we just did that?
Because you hit that one right on the head. That is so true because you do have to teach people how to treat you, you know? And so I am teaching myself now how to treat Kim, how to
That's
be
right.
good to Kim. And
That's
then I know that I won't accept anything less than that, you know,
right.
now, you
Hmm.
know.
Hmm. Yeah.
So you're right about that. You hit that.
Listen, as women particularly, we set the tone.
Right, right.
I learned that, you know, particularly on my journey to becoming a wife, my journey, you know, through motherhood and even
Mm-hmm.
beyond, you know, now on the
Mm-hmm.
other side of it, we set the tone of
Yes, we do.
so much. And a lot of things that
Mm-hmm.
we do, we can prevent. And a
Yes.
lot of things that we want, we can set off
And make it happen.
and
That's
make
right.
it happen.
Yes,
Right? We
yes,
set the tone, and all we have to simply do is give ourselves permission
yes.
to step into it, right? Like
Right,
with
right.
being entrepreneurship, I talk a lot, Kimberly, about stepping into the autonomy. You know, my
Mm-hmm.
coaching and accountability. I said, you know what? I can give you all the strategies and techniques in the world, but if your mindset's not there, it doesn't matter. Not gonna happen. And
Girl.
I can teach you how to use this app, and I can teach you how to throw money at that tool. But what I
Mm-hmm.
cannot
Mm-hmm.
teach you is how to step into your autonomy. You gotta want that.
You gotta want it.
You gotta
And not
want that.
only want it, but you have to want it more than anything that
Anything else.
any words that you're using. You know, you can say you want something. Many years I've said that I wanted to lose weight and be
Yes.
healthy and not
Yes.
just lose weight, but just be a healthy person,
Mhm.
period, you
Right.
know.
Right.
And it wasn't until I got into this process and I started putting action behind it that I realized that yeah, I wanted it, but I didn't want it before, you know. And so you're absolutely right. You have
Yep.
to want it
You
for
have
yourself.
to
I
want
don't
it.
care how many coaches you have, how many mentors you have, you gotta want it and you
You
gotta
gotta
do the
want it.
work.
Yep,
Hmm.
because you can throw money at it and be just as in poor shape as you were before
Right.
you started. And you make a valid point. Size, you know, is not always the indicator. Like we got to watch our KPIs or our key performance
Right.
indicators, right? Because you can be super super thin and be
Mhm.
unhealthy, right? So
Mhm.
we have to make
Yes.
sure that what we're using as our metrics are relative.
Right. Right.
Make sure that we're not doing too much compare. Be inspired,
Oh,
but
yes.
watch the comparison.
Oh my Lord, that is a killer right there.
It's
That
thief.
comparison thing is a thief of joy, and we do it, and social media makes us so unaware of how we're comparing our lives, you
Yeah.
know. And I've been there, done that, and I don't do that anymore, you know. And one of my philosophies is I have everything that I have right now
Mhm.
is what I've worked to have at this up to this point. If I
Mhm.
don't have it, I didn't do the work to get it, you know. And
Ooh.
and I'm exactly where I am supposed to be in this moment for the
Mhm.
work that I put in to be here.
Mhm.
And I had to really swallow a hard pill when I was at Georgia State. I wanted to leave, not necessarily the university, but my department. I was desperate to leave.
Uh-huh.
And I would get opportunities for interviews and, just an amazing opportunities for interviews, would never get the job. And I had to realize it's not because I'm not worthy of those jobs, but
That's
God
right.
is saying to me, Kim, you're not ready.
Yeah.
There's some things I need you to get here before I move you to something else, something
Mhm.
greater.
Mhm.
And I had to really swallow a hard, big old juicy pill to get to know people that I had difficulties with, to learn from them. And I was trying to do all kind of weird stuff because I'm like, Lord, is it this that I'm supposed to be doing? Is it this that I'm supposed
Right.
to be doing?
Just bouncing around from thing to thing, what
Right,
they call the
right.
shiny object syndrome. Because like you said, sometimes, like you said,
Yes.
it's not always about the worth factor. It's not that you're not
Hmm.
worthy. It wasn't for you.
Right.
You
It
just jumped
wasn't for
out and
you.
did it. And I say
Right.
it, and I said things don't, you don't get passionate about things until they get personal, right?
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
wellness, finance, experiences,
Hmm.
relationships. You don't get passionate.
Yes.
Let me say people don't go storming around for cancer awareness and autism until it hit
Until they
home,
have it. Yep.
until it hits home. Your mama, your
That's
sister, your
true.
auntie, your child, right?
Hmm.
You might be interested. You might round up your dollar
Right.
spend,
Right.
but you don't get passionate until it gets personal. And
Right.
when it comes down to doing things, sometimes we get ahead of ourselves.
Hmm.
We get out of
Right.
alignment with the plan. And I love being able to share my challenges that I've had, some things I'm still recovering from, and some
Right.
things that I'm hoping, like, don't hey, don't do it.
Hmm.
if
Yeah.
if
Stay
if
away from
you
that.
know, just stay away from it. If you know, like, I'm just an echo. I'm not making the decision for you. I'm echoing what you already know to be true,
Oh yeah. Oh
right?
yeah. And
And
when you don't acknowledge that truth, it's gonna keep coming back around until you acknowledge it.
that
It's gonna
thing,
repeat itself.
you're gonna be like, when am I gonna pass this test? When you stop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When
And
you
and
stop.
oftentimes I had to study, it's like,
Mhm.
okay, this keeps happening to me. Is it because, I'm what is going on? And so I had to really just stop and say, okay, the last time this happened to me, what was you
What
doing?
was you? Yeah.
What were you doing in this situation? Because I was always like, well, she did this and he did that, and I'm the reason I am today because of what he didn't do or she didn't do. And I had to really realize, okay, well, what you gonna do about that?
Right.
Because people gonna be people, but you are the only thing you can control.
That's
You,
it.
you.
That's it. That's it. Oh, this is so good. So,
Right.
as you now, you're in 2021, you are 6 months into this
Yes.
self-reflective, self-nurturing, growing, changing, evolving, beautiful
Right.
space. I mean, your glow is bomb.
Thank
It's
you.
so good. you know as you're in this space and going forward, what would you care to share? Because we know we got to be careful with who we share our goals with.
That's true.
But
That's
what would
true.
you care to share is up next for Kim, as far as keeping it moving? Or what word would you like to leave with those of us who are listening in to understand how we
Yes.
can keep it moving in our experiences?
Well, what's next for me is the second part of this process that I started in February. So I'm starting that in June, and it's called The Journey, and that is more focused on your spiritual and your mental uh, parts of you, your
Mhm.
mind, body, and soul. The body was for the 40-day, but I would say the word that I would want to leave with anybody is keeping it moving doesn't necessarily mean. When I was younger, I used to say keep it moving, but it was in a mean way, like get over it,
Uh-huh.
you
Right.
know,
Right. Uh-huh.
just get over it, girl. But
Hmm.
for me, keeping it moving means that you have to stop and acknowledge, this just happened to me. So
That's
I'm going
right.
to stop and acknowledge what was it in it that I was supposed to get out of this,
Mm-hmm.
and then also the crux of keeping it moving is having faith that whatever is going to happen, whatever the outcome of this, there's things that are in this that I'm supposed to learn. So letting your lessons be your blessings is a huge part of keeping it
Ooh.
moving. Um, and then also blooming where you're planted. You might be in a job that you can't stand, whatever situation is that you're in right now that you often find yourself saying, ugh, about. There's something there. That's why you're there. You are right where you're supposed to be. If you weren't
That's
supposed to
right.
be there, you would leave that situation.
Yeah.
And if you're still there, there's a reason why. And
Yeah.
so dig deep and find out, what can I learn in this environment while I'm here? So,
Mm-hmm.
blooming where you're planted. And then the last thing is being able to adapt to change.
Mm-hmm.
And change comes in so many different formats, but being able to be a change agent and somebody, and the main way to be a change agent is to impose self-imposed changes into your own life.
Self-imposed changes. Yeah.
And the self-imposed changes that you impose into your own life, when change comes from a different direction that's outside of you, it's
Mm-hmm.
easier for you to adapt to it because you're constantly changing your own self.
Boom.
So a imposed change would be, for instance, if I kept on the path that I was going on, in 2020 with my weight, my doctor would have said, Kim, you have diabetes. That's an imposed change that she's going to make on me. But I
Mm-hmm.
decided that before she tells me that, I'm going to make a self-imposed change on myself. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
start eating better. I'm going to start being more active. And so the more I began to evolve Kim and
Mm-hmm.
change Kim and rearrange Kim and mold
Mm-hmm.
Kim and everything, when my
Yeah.
job gives me changes, I'm okay with it, because
Right.
guess what? I'm used to changing. And that's how you become a change agent. And so those to me are the keys to keeping it moving, and just being able to, you don't have to be happy all the time, but you need to be
That's
able to
right.
reach down and get some joy in you every day.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Mm-hmm.
thing that makes me joyous, which in some people may seem kind of morbid, but knowing that I'm not in the ground like Thomas is.
That's right.
I'm not sick. I'm
Yeah.
not having a heart attack. I'm not
Yeah.
in any danger to, have any type of thing that's gonna, take me out of this world. That's my joy. I
Yeah.
might not have the most money or the baddest house or car or whatever, but guess what? I have joy that some people, everybody is alive. If you listen to this, you alive. But most people don't even recognize that in themselves, that is the biggest blessing that happens to you every single day. You are gifted with life.
Right.
And so those are the three elements that I would definitely say that people should focus on in order to keep it moving in their lives.
Ooh, ooh, listen, just wind it back if you have to, folks. It's okay. The replay will be available, right?
Yes.
It will totally be available. Just wind it back if you have to, because she gave us some absolutely reflective and practical things that we can apply to
Yes.
our day-to-day living. And I appreciate that you touched on joy, because society and what we see in imagery will have us thinking that joy is always one thing, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
circumstantial at all. You can
At all.
be sad but still have joy. Like
Amen.
a death. I'm not saying like ongoing forever, but like
Mm-hmm.
you can be
Mm-hmm.
sad today but still have joy. You
Right.
can be a little confused tomorrow and still have joy. You can, right? Like
Right.
it's not
Right. Right.
circumstantial. And so recognizing what's important, what's fact over feelings, right? Most always.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Recognizing what the facts are will help have
Right.
joy. I know I reached out to one of my parentpreneur communities and was like, "Oh, the cheerleader is just trying not to crumble." This was my yesterday. I was like, "The cheerleader is just trying not to crumble." Like, I am so tired. This virtual
Right.
kindergarten is kicking my
Right.
behind. Virtual kindergarten kicking my
Mm.
behind. And it's not that she's not having a hard time. It's me. It's
Right.
me.
Right.
Because I had
Right.
a
Right.
plan, right? I had to have
Right.
different. I get up and I have it the way I want the day to go, and then here comes the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other
Mm-hmm. They change
personality and
everything.
my personality, and together we are not following the plan, right?
Right.
And
Right.
having to remind myself the plan is a roadmap, not a guarantee. The plan is a roadmap,
Absolutely.
not a guarantee,
Yes.
right? The
Yes.
destination at the end of the day still needs to be achieved. How
Yes.
I get there, though, may have to flex. The mode
Right.
of
And enjoy
transportation that
it.
I use, and enjoy it.
Yes. Enjoy
Literally,
it.
dry erase marker on the bathroom mirror. Our days are as fun as we make them. Our
That's the
days are as
truth.
fun as we make them. And
That's the
having to
truth.
revisit that to say, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it didn't go the way I wanted it. I would have preferred that. However, we're alive, we're healthy. We,
Right.
you know what I
Right.
mean? Like she just smashed that little quiz that they did. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? We're gonna be all right. Like it's
Yes.
all good. So I'm grateful that you brought up some intangible intangible experiences and opportunities that we can also choose to see and receive in our own lives to keep
Right.
it moving. I
Yes.
love conversing with you. Every time we talk, whether it's email or one-to-one, even though I know you guys are listening into our conversation, I feel like it's just the two of us. But
Right.
you have to so go into the chat when
I
we get
will.
off. They are loving you. They are loving you and everything that you have shared. The support has been wonderful. It's beautiful to
Thank
see. Thank you
you.
all for being a part of this conversation
Yes.
and for being so reflective. Like there's a lot of self-reflection happening. You're doing your
Good.
chemovation is absolutely coming through the screen. How can people find you, connect with you?
Sure. Yeah, so I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Kimovation at
Mm-hmm.
Kimovation. And
Mm-hmm.
then you can email me at Kimberly Bass. That's Kimberly Bass. Oh, my name is on the screen. It's
Uh-huh.
Kimberly Bass at kimovation.com. And
Yes.
so those are the ways that you can contact me. And I am definitely right now I'm not taking on any new clients, but
Mm-hmm.
I've been having 1 hour consultation meetings with people. So I'm not taking on any long-term clients, but I'm happy to pause and, meet with people and I work with you on your budget and so definitely connect with me and a lot of times people will come to me because they don't want to or they don't believe in therapy. So one of my caveats is, I'm not a therapist.
Well, that's
I can
right.
give you, I can give you resources to how to get there, but
Yeah.
but certainly, personal and professional development is my thing.
You're a conduit. You're a
Yes,
conduit. You can
yes,
be
I
that
love that.
bridge that leads them to that deeper work that requires, a
Absolutely.
different level. Like you said, I'm listen now. I got you on the interim. I can get you coming in, and then we're gonna usher
Right,
you to your next resource so you can
right.
absolutely set forth a healthy lifestyle and habit and make it actually be a benefit. And I love that.
Absolutely.
And I hope you all out there caught on to the fact that she is truly a coach and consultant, right? Because you said, while I'm not taking on clients long term, I'm still getting cash infusion. I can help you.
Yes,
Listen, I'm here
absolutely.
for
Thank
it.
you.
You better let them know how it's done.
Yes, yes. Because it's
Let them
something that I love
know.
to do, but I can't. Like I made a promise to myself that I was
That's
going to
right.
spend 2021 working on Kim, and
Yes,
but I still love doing that work,
that's
and
right.
so yes.
You as
Thank
you
you.
work on you, you're still working with others, and that is
Right.
one way that we absolutely, I can truly speak the truth to that. To turning my suffering into service is
Mm-hmm.
one sure way that I
Pain
was
into
like,
purpose.
pain and the
Mm-hmm.
purpose, that healing. If you're waiting on it, um, don't just wait.
Right. You got to do the work. You got to do the work. You
Do the
do.
work, get moving, and
Mm-hmm.
help others while you're
Yes.
going through,
Yes.
and
Yes.
you will see a shift like you couldn't
Yes.
have expected. But we're
Absolutely.
not gonna start this conversation back up.
Because we could talk for hours.
We're gonna
I
bring
love
this
you
one
so
to an
much.
end. I love you, sis. Thank you for being you and for sharing all your goodness and helping us be inspired, be uplifted, and enlightened,
Thank
especially in
you.
times like this.
Yes. Thank
Keep it
you so
moving,
much.
y'all. Thank you.
Yes.
Stay true. Stay tuned for another conversation, a live talk on Transcend with Bootstrap Dreams. We appreciate you.
Bye.